athletic program at their schools, that they can send them to high schools, to public high schools, to be on their teams,
Yeah,
and
that's not,
participate in their.
yeah, there's, first I think we're talking about HB 41, that fair tax thing where you.
The tax exemption
Yes,
for,
yeah. Yeah, I like
children
that
with
bill.
disabilities.
Oh, no, that's a
Going to
different one.
private
That's another one.
That's what I mean, there are tons out there
Yeah.
that can
Well,
really.
people are, I tell you, there's, for having a bunch of heartless, cold Republicans running the place, there's a lot of concern for the kids and for their education. And because we're not following a traditional or more liberal viewpoint of how we deliver education, we're looking for more alternatives. There is a lot of bills out there. HB 41, I signed on to that one, but the one you're talking about, I can't remember the number on that. You're talking about the kids from private schools or homeschool kids
Schools, private
going.
schools, or charter schools.
Are any of you familiar with that?
I'd remind you that Tim Tebow was a homeschooler.
Well,
Won 2 national championships and a Heisman Trophy, so it's not always a bad thing.
yeah, I
I'm
haven't.
not saying anything bad
No,
about
no,
that
I-
either.
I'm familiar with it. I'm slightly familiar, so I won't talk like an authority on that one. But on the surface, I can see the social and educational value for having a child participate in those sports, but there has to be an accountability for the financial costs associated with it as well. So as long as there's equity there, I think we all want what's best for the kids.
But doesn't
Especially if it's a great
everybody
football player.
pay taxes that go to the school, whether they have a child in the school system or not?
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
true.
just the people who have children enrolled in those schools are not the only people paying taxes that support those schools.
That's true, but what the Constitution of the state requires is that we provide a free public education. Doesn't necessarily include sports, band, or anything like that. So all I'm saying is if a child's going to be homeschooled and we're taking that portion of tax money and sending them, or let's say private school, and we send them to private school and that money follows them, or they go to a charter school and that money follows them, but then they want to participate in a sport, which is an extracurricular
What
activity.
government money is paying the private school tuition or for the homeschool curriculum? We're already paying for our kids' education. All we're asking is for them to be able to participate in sports. We're not even asking you to educate them. So we're actually costing you less money, not more.
Well, that's what I said earlier, is the charter schools, for example, are paying about 70 cents on the dollar. But what you're talking about is an extracurricular activity.
Right.
And there's
You
costs
don't have to
associated
provide
with
it to any children.
it. You're losing me now.
But you're saying it's good to spend the extra money on children who we're paying to educate, who the state's paying to educate, but we're not going to spend that extra money on children who somebody else is paying to educate. How does that make any
I'm
sense?
sorry, can somebody put that, yeah, I'm
My
sorry, I'm
heart's
trying to
beating too
understand.
fast to make sense of it because I'm pretty passionate about it.
She's paying,
I'm footing the
she's
bill.
paying
Well, let her
$100.
finish.
She's paying $100 to
Okay.
send a kid to school, whether she has a child in school or not.
Right,
And she's paying for that child to be in school 100% at that facility. But she's really doing you a favor as a school because she's taking her child out and actually spending more money on top of that, putting that child into a private school for the education. So that school now has a resource surplus of money that they now can do with whatever they want to. All she's asking is that her child now, for that money that she's paying, just is able to go to that school to participate in extracurricular activity that, by the way, every other kid that goes to that school would be able to do.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
already using the other
all right.
resources.
In other
No.
words, she's already paying for it
Right.
through her tax money.
Right.
Except in HB 41 where the money follows the student and you're coming out of the school.
Well, the
But
money
that's
hasn't
not-
followed the student to my homeschool.
All right, but
I
that's,
can tell you that.
but
It
now you're talking
hasn't
about.
followed my student to the
But
private
see, there's-
Christian
yeah.
school either,
Right.
so.
Well, it hasn't followed ours to Salisbury Academy either. But and
So
we've
it's not
got,
really following the student.
not now, but
Yeah.
both of those issues are being addressed. I mean, right now you got to remember we're in a transition period. So you're looking, how do we transit? This is the toughest part for anybody to be in, is the transition period.